Hello, everybody. This is Paul Hoyt and Shane McKenna coming to you once again on Facebook Live for our daily progress update and sharing some information on the Ascending Harvest project and the products and hopefully some things of interest to you and maybe even a little insightful messages from time to time or topics about being more effective and more productive in your business itself. So I'm, like I say, Paul Hoyt, the CEO of Ascending Harvest, and it's my great pleasure to have on the call with me today my buddy, business partner, and the resident genius behind all of the innovations at Ascending Harvest, Shane McKenna. Say hello, Shane.
Hey, everyone. Thank you for that kind intro, Paul. I've been doing our regular thing that we do at the beginning of our meetings, and that is posting the video onto my feed. So my friends are now able to see this, and hope some of them join us. And if you want to, throw us a question now and then, and we'll see if we can get to it.
I would really like that. That's one of the things I love to do whenever I'm in a video show like this, is take questions from the crowd and just at random, just anything. It always is fun to see how the questions come in and see what kind of answers come up. And if you haven't done so already, please go to ascendingharvest.com and sign up for our list. When you do, you'll be eligible for some prize drawings that we do at the end of every one of these little video casts, or Zoom casts as I like to call them, where we give away a free human-powered hydroponics system to be delivered next year. We'll do that at the end of the program. It's a little too late to sign up for today's drawing, but if you sign up right now, you'll be eligible for tomorrow's drawing and all drawings in the future. So please do that. If you haven't done so already, then go to Ascending Harvest Facebook page, which is simply facebook.com/Ascending Harvest, and like us there and follow us there so you can keep up to date on this particular project that we've got going here. And boy, do we have something cool going on. I was just delighted with the conversations we had over the last couple of days. Once you're finished listening to this one, if you haven't done so already, go back and listen to the two previous video casts we did. They're on our blog page in our website at ascendingharvest.com. We did them on Intelligent Grow Media, and in just a couple of days where Shane held forth and gave us an incredible amount of information on how soil works and the function of soil and the challenges of being a farmer or a gardener, and then how Intelligent Grow Media, our soil replacement system, does everything that soil does, and a lot of things better than soil can possibly do. So go watch those because they're really informative, as I'm sure today's conversation will be informative too. I know you enjoyed doing those last two, Shane, because you were kind of excited during those.
I love talking about innovation, and not just my own innovation, but the innovation of others. And this is a big deal. Intelligent Grow Media has the potential to create a massive change in farming of certain crops. So I'm eager to spread the word and share what we are doing, because I think once people understand the impact that we're creating, we're going to get a lot of traction and help a lot of people.
I'm excited about it too. We even had a nice call from somebody this morning that might want to help us out in a very big way. So that would be very cool. Yeah, that would be very cool indeed. Today, we are going to let Shane geek out again and talk about one of his very favorite subjects, which is efficiency. And when he brought that up, I was reminded of a presentation I did a couple of years ago on getting stuff done, and being more successful in the work that you do. And I differentiated it between three different measurements of success: productivity, effectiveness, and efficiency. So productivity is about what the volume of work is that you get done. Effectiveness is whether or not that work actually does what you want it to do, if it actually meets customer requirements or meets your expectations. But efficiency is the amount of work that you do with a particular amount of resources and typically expressed over a particular period of time as well. So, I've told you almost everything I know about those three things, but Shane, I think, has made a lifetime out of studying ways to make things more efficient. And I'm going to start with a softball question here, I think, and he didn't know I was going to ask him this question, but it was, why is efficiency so important to you, Shane? Why are you so obsessed and so geeked out on saving, just another 10% of resources?
So I grew up on our family property with my great-grandfather, who was a double amputee. Not my great-grandfather, my grandfather, sorry. He was a double amputee, and my little brother and I, we did the work on that property, fixing fences, digging ditches, hauling sod, clearing rocks. And we lived in the cabin that my great-grandfather built with no indoor plumbing. We cooked and heated with wood stoves. And at 8,000 feet in the Wyoming mountains, it gets really cold. And everything we did was hard. You want to eat, you got to build a fire. You want to build a fire, you got to gather wood. You got to chop wood. You've got to haul it in the house. Everything you do is hard. One of my jobs was hauling water, and I would take 2.5 gallon buckets down to the creek, and I would dip them with water and pack them up to the house. And usually that was only a couple of trips a day, but on laundry day, oh my gosh, it felt like my arms grew 6 inches on laundry day.
Wow.
From packing water from the creek. And anyway, when everything you do requires a lot of effort, you think about, how can I do this better? How can I do it easier? How can I leverage something to make this project or this task easier? Because my grandfather would send us out to do the work, and if we came back and didn't have it done, well, that's something else that we got behind on, and it prevented us from getting something else done. So there's this domino effect. And so I love efficiency. And one of the things that I've specialized in my career is both writing software that make machines run more efficient and looking at ways to save electricity in the industrial environment. Earlier in my career, I worked in a lot of factories, and I looked at ways, how do we do this more efficiently? How do we save a half a second in this process? Because if you can save a half a second in a process that's done 10,000 times a day, those add up. And those add up to productivity, like you spoke to earlier, but they also add up to big savings over time with getting the most out of your inputs.
Oh, wow. Well, so you have had a lifetime here of trying to make your life a little bit easier and to get things done a little bit quicker and to use a little less of your energy and energy available from electricity, just kind of deeply ingrained and programmed into your subconscious mind. And I know you have taken all of that into consideration in the design of human-powered hydroponics. So talk to us a little bit about how you took a look at traditional hydroponic systems and found ways to make them so efficient that we could create a version of them that was human-powered.
Yeah, so as I've mentioned in other videos, I worked on a project many years ago that was a huge indoor farming project. And one of the problems with that project was the amount of energy that the system was going to require. And part of that energy load was due to the existing grow media of the time. And so intelligent grow media, our cornerstone technology, that really came out of the consideration of if I can create a new kind of grow media that the plants grow in, I can save a lot of energy. If I could create something that had these XYZ characteristics, then that energy savings would be worthwhile. And at the time, little did I know that what I would create was going to be so much more efficient. And I won't go into it right now, but a little bit later, let's actually go through some of the math based on the research and the prototypes that we've done so far and explain to people just how efficient that is.
Cool. Were those indoor gardens, indoor farms that you were working on, were they hydroponic based?
Yes, that was a hydroponic based system. And hydroponics and indoor farming specifically, the second largest energy load in the system is the pumping of water.
Wow.
So
what's number one?
HVAC.
HVAC. How about
cooling
lights?
of the building, yes.
How about lights? Do they factor
Yes.
in as well?
Yes, lights used to be the second greatest load, but with LED lighting technology, lighting energy loads have come way down. Actually, in many systems, the lighting energy load, depending on the system and how it's done, the lighting energy load might be the second biggest expense. But definitely in greenhouse farming, pumping of water is the second greatest energy expense of the system.
Yeah, and for those of you who are listening, kind of a difference between greenhouse and indoor farming is greenhouse relies a lot, if not entirely, on natural sunlight, where indoor farming, maybe in a warehouse somewhere, and may not have any natural sunlight whatsoever. So indoor farming, especially large scale commercial indoor farming, relies primarily, if not exclusively, on LED lights, where greenhouse technology is much different. That is, lets much more of the regular environment in to your growing environment. So if you can reduce the energy required to pump the water, that not only pays off in the energy required to pump the water, but also in HVAC, right? Because you're reducing the amount of heat that's generated by a system so that you can reduce the HVAC load too.
Yeah, pumping water doesn't create a lot of heat. The lights are where most of the heat comes from, and that's being improved all the time too. But yeah, pumping water, the pump generates a little bit of heat, but not a lot.
Cool. So talk to me about what did you do in order to dramatically improve the efficiency of the pumping actions?
Well, what I've done is I invented a material combination that is in itself a passive pump. So in hydroponics, we have to continuously pump water and nutrient, and we do that with water pumps. And so there's a continuous energy load of pumping that water and pumping that water through lines and manifolds to distribute that water through the system. And then we collect that water and recirculate it, and it has to recirculate continuously. Well, what I've invented is a material combination that, and a way of producing that material in such a way that it efficiently pumps the water through capillary action. So what that means is we do not need to pump the water continuously. We only periodically dose the system with water. And that allows us to save a huge amount of energy. And that also allows us to make it human-powered because we have a hand pump in our system that if you pump it 30 seconds in the morning, 30 seconds in the evening, you will circulate enough water to the grow tray where the intelligent grow media resides, and the intelligent grow media will do the rest of the work continuously and consistently. So all we do is think of it this way. We're getting the feet wet of the intelligent grow media twice a day, and the rest of the day it's pumping it, it's using its circulation system to pump it up to the roots.
Wow. That, I don't see how you could get any more efficient than that, is to just periodically move additional water, mineral, nutrient solution, into the base of the grow media and let it passively, just through the material science that you have developed, passively move those up to the roots of the plant.
Right.
And,
right. So essentially we replaced the mechanical pump that's required in all hydroponics. We've replaced that with a passive material pump.
So that has a lot of advantages, not just in the energy savings, but there's a couple of things that come to mind that I think are true as well. Number one is that it requires less water in the system. And number two is that you don't have near the potential disaster if electricity is cut off for some number of hours.
Right, that's exactly right. So in some hydroponic systems, particularly systems that are very sophisticated like aeroponics, those systems are engineered at a great deal of precision, and there's a lot of sophistication in those systems, so much so that if they lose power or they have a pump failure, even for just 45 minutes, that 45 minutes can actually kill some of those aeroponic crops.
Wow.
So they have to have backup systems, and they have to perform a huge amount of maintenance. So you have to have highly trained personnel to set up, engineer, run the system, and do maintenance on the system. Our system requires none of that. It's easy to set up, and once it's set up, it will literally run for years without maintenance.
Wow. That really reduces operational costs, and it reduces infrastructure costs, and with you don't have to have as much water in the system, you can reduce the size of the pumps and the power necessary to pump the water around, and it pays all kinds of dividends in a lot of different product lines, I think.
Yes. And there's other areas of industry that I've worked on efficiency. Like I mentioned early in my career, a lot of this was code writing. I would look at the way the machine moves in doing its process, and I would look at ways to streamline that movement. So instead of the machine making corners to move from one station to the next, I would write a code that would actually allow it to make a curved transition. And those curved transitions could add up to significant savings in the system. I've worked on other air-powered systems. There's a product out there right now from a company called InstaChain, and their primary product, before I invented a mechanism for them that we patented, they used a 4-inch air can, which is about 100 millimeter diameter air can, to drive their system. And after implementing my mechanism, it uses a 65 millimeter air cylinder. So that was about a 35% increase in efficiency just through the usage of a specially designed mechanism. I've also invented energy harvesting technologies and implemented energy harvesting technologies in the collection of energy and in the heating and cooling of homes. So it's not like this is my first go-round in looking for ways to save energy. But this by far is the greatest energy leap that I've ever made.
Now that is so cool. I share a little bit of your passion there. Early in my career, the first 20 or 30 years of my career were in information systems, and we were all the time focused on making our programs a little bit smaller and running a little bit faster, and really focused on business process reengineering to make those, to make the people work more effectively, to be able and efficiently, to allow them to do their job in 1 hour instead of 6 hours, those kinds of things. So I share a little bit of that passion, but I don't have any of the genius you have when actually taking that passion for efficiency and putting it into mechanical action and making products out of that. So I think that's way cool. Maybe in my next lifetime, I'll have to come back as an engineer. You're inspiring me, Shane.
Well, it's a lot of fun. So do you think it would be interesting to actually go through the exercise of how much more efficient intelligent grow media is, or I should say not more efficient, but just give people a taste of exactly how efficient it is?
Let's do that. I'm excited about that.
Okay, so I'm going to be looking down at my other computer here because I've got a spreadsheet built. And if anybody wants, I'm happy to share this spreadsheet. I'll put it in Google Doc and I'll share it, and you can do the math yourself. But in the United States, 1,000 watts of electricity costs about 14 cents. And you can look on your electric bill and it will tell you how much you spend per kilowatt hour. And so the average is 14 cents, and a kilowatt hour is 1,000 watts of electricity. So if you look at $1 of electricity, that equals 7,143 watts. Now, when we take one of our human-powered systems and we hook it up to an electrical-driven pump, and the smallest one I can find is a 1.5 watt aquarium pump. These are a tiny little diaphragm-driven pump, and they use very little electricity. 1.5 watts is less electricity than some LED lights, a single pinpoint of LED lights. Some of those are 3 watts and 4.5 watts. So this is even less energy than it takes to run a single LED bulb.
So is that like per hour? 1.5 watts?
That's per hour.
Per hour.
Yeah, so one of these aquarium pumps would use 1.5 watts of power per hour. Now, it only takes 30 seconds in the morning and 30 seconds in the evening of running the pump to keep the system healthy. But let's just exaggerate that a little bit and say we use 2 minutes of power a day to run the pump for the system. So if you take that 1.5 watts and you divide it by 30, because 2 seconds will go into, 2 minutes will go into an hour 30 times. So you divide that by 30, you end up with 0.05 watts used per day.
Wow.
That's an extremely minuscule amount of electrical energy. So we take the amount of power that $1 will buy us, which is 7,143 watts, and we divide it by 0.05 watts, and we end up with 142,857 days that you can run our system with that little 1.5 watt pump. Now, if you put that into years, divide that by 365, you end up with 391 years. So almost 400 years.
So it's 400 years for a dollar?
For $1. So $1 of U.S. electricity will run one of our systems for almost 400 years.
Wow.
So let's put that to scale. Let's say somebody had a large operation and they had our systems that were a meter square. And let's say that we double the amount of power that goes to drive that meter square system instead of a 13-gallon system. Let's say we double the power consumption. Well, you would get almost 200 years out of that $1, or you could run 200 systems per year for that $1 of electricity. So from a business standpoint, I'm sure you realize the impact of this. That cost is negligible.
Yeah.
It's an absolutely negligible cost, and 200 meters would fill a large greenhouse, 200 square meters. That's a large greenhouse full of growing food. So what can you do with $1? You can grow a greenhouse of food for $1 a year.
Wow. That is awesome. And I think it has really great implications for future products that we may bring out of, may bring based upon, your innovation with intelligent grow media and your passion for efficiency, which I dearly love because I love competitive advantages. I love, with this humanitarian venture of Ascending Harvest, we love helping people out in ways that no other company can do it because of your passion for efficiency and because of the innovations that you're bringing into market. So way to go, Shane. It's an honor.
Well, you can imagine that in the hands of a family, let's say they have a half dozen systems,
mm-hmm.
they're going to spend less than 10 minutes in the morning and 10 minutes in the evening pumping those with air in order to get a significant amount of their nutrients. That's important. That's what we're bringing to the table. That's the end result, is giving people a system that's easy to set up, easy to use, doesn't require a lot of energy input, so they're getting the nutrition they need, but they still have the time available to them to do other things that keep their life organized, functioning, and bring profit and value to their life.
Yeah, that can really change their life. With better nutrition, they don't have to spend as much money on food, so they've got more money to spend on other things. They're healthier, so their brain functions better. They're under less stress, so that maybe they have less fear and anxiety in their life, so relationships are improved because there's less arguments and confrontation when people have a little more peace of mind and they're a little more lighthearted because they're a little better fed and the whole body is working more effectively and efficiently. So, that can pay off in huge, huge ways in terms of really transforming communities and families and societies in these developing countries. So I'm very excited about that.
Me too.
Yeah, when I have a chance to dream about the promise of human-powered hydroponics and the promise of our company, Ascending Harvest, the dreams get pretty large, like putting 10,000 systems in a community, or putting 100,000 systems in refugee camps, so that 15 or 20,000 families, can have the food that they need, and they won't be spending half their time in a line somewhere looking for a handout. Yeah, that's going to have a great promise. And I know that we've talked about in other video casts and will in the future about how we are overcoming the challenges that those developing countries face in the food distribution problem by essentially thinking out of the box and eliminating the problem. You don't have to distribute the food if it's right there in your backyard.
Right. I mean, how do you feed 1 billion people? You empower them to grow their own food.
Very cool. And that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing at Ascending Harvest. If you enjoyed this video cast, I encourage you to go to Facebook on our Ascending Harvest page on Facebook and leave some comments, ask some questions. We'll get right back to you because we love to have this interaction. We are preparing for a crowdfunding campaign, which is now scheduled to launch in the middle of September, which is coming up in just a few weeks. We're very excited about that. Leading up to that campaign and during the campaign, we're doing these daily video casts. And at the end of each one of these video casts, we're giving away a human-powered hydroponic system, which I am eager to do for today. We do that by every day I take and download a list of all of the people who've gone to ascendingharvest.com and signed up for our email list. And I put them into random order using a couple of random generating tools that we have with Excel. And then Shane goes into his random number generator and gives me a number between 1 and 10,000, and out pops the winner. Shane, what's our winning number for today?
So I'm getting ready to hit the generate button here, and if you can see that, it's 2796.
2796. And the winner for today, the number who is closest to 2796, is Tom Brushwood. Tom Brushwood, congratulations. You are the winner of a human-powered hydroponic systems. We will send one to you when we get these into manufacturing in Q1 of 2019, or at that time you're welcome to donate that system to a needy family. We'll donate one in your name to that. So congratulations, Tom Brushwood, for being the winner of the human-powered hydroponic system for today.
Congratulations, Tom.
I think that's kind of a wrap. Again, please do a few things for us. Go to ascendingharvest.com, sign up for our list so you can be eligible for these prize drawings. Go to our Facebook page at Ascending Harvest and like us there, follow us there. Go to YouTube. Look us up on YouTube at Ascending Harvest. We need a bunch of subscribers. We're up to about 60 or so. Once we get to 100 subscribers, then we can have a custom URL and we can grab the URL on YouTube for Ascending Harvest. On YouTube, you're going to find all these videos from the webcast. We also have them on our blog page on our website. So you can go to ascendingharvest.com/blog or just click on that menu item whenever you go to the website, and you can watch some of the previous ones that we have done. I especially encourage you to watch the ones on Intelligent Grow Media that we recorded in the 2 days prior to this one, because we give a lot of, well, Shane gives a lot of great information on the hows and the whys of Intelligent Grow Media and how it acts as essentially a soil replacement system, really a better soil, a better growing environment than even nature's own soil can provide. So we're very excited about that. With that, I'm going to say goodbye and let Shane say the final goodbyes for today, and we hope to see you all tomorrow.
Yes, with my goodbye, I would also like to ask folks, if you know an influencer that would be jazzed about our project, or as Paul said earlier, geeked out by it like I am, then please send them our way. We'd love the introduction and to be able to utilize their network of contacts and influence to help get the word out about our project. Thank you so much for your time and have an awesome day.
Goodbye, folks.